Please unmute your mic. Okay, so we'll give Fran Davies some time.
Thank you very much, Samson.
Great.
Thank you very much, Samson. Thank you very much, and thanks for the opportunity. My greetings to all Ghanaians, sending Ghanaians, your viewers and esteemed listeners. Samson, I must say that the events of recent time have left all of us wondering whether we are pursuing any good democracy or constitutionally prescribed governance. I don't really understand why we are boxing ourselves in such despicable, excuse my language, situations. I mean, there are always laid down rules, procedures, and practices, for doing things. So it falls short of trying to offer any whimper of excuse for things which ought to be done regularly and properly and are done otherwise, for people just to come back and apologize. You know, what is wrong yesterday cannot be right today. And there is no need to make referrals to the past when the present is there to guide us. We look into the past and correct our mistakes, of the present. But when we still do things that are condemnable in the past, in the future, who is going to appease or hold himself responsible for what has happened? It is worrying. It is worrying, and I find it very difficult to appreciate and understand what is going on. I mean, if you take my circumstance as a trained lawyer, now this Ofori-Atta matter, I am pained by the fact that, and please, nobody should wax political about these matters. I mean, we are talking as discerning Ghanaians, and I'm talking here as a lawyer, not as a political actor. So I am going strictly according to the dictates of law.
First, will it be wrong if they went to the house with a search warrant?
It should not be wrong if they went. It should not be wrong if they went to the house with an arrest warrant. Of course, if they have an arrest warrant, they have every right to come to your home. But the decency is communication and notice. The decency is communication and notice. When we all know that the person being sought after is not a petty criminal, it's not a common criminal walking around the streets. I mean, this is a minister, was a minister of state. For God's sake, the finance minister for that matter. A high-profile, very prominent cabinet minister. And where was Ofori-Atta until this? Was he not in this country? Was Ofori-Atta not in this country, but for the incidents of ailment, which was known practically to everyone? Who didn't know in this country that Ofori-Atta was under some medical siege? I mean, if you have an arrest warrant and you come to my home and I'm indoor, the little understanding and limited knowledge of the law I have is that you politely invite me out and tell me that you have an arrest warrant to search my home. You have to exhibit the warrant. I have to see it before you enter. Something, you know, you have to exhibit the warrant to me. I have to peruse the warrant. Under circumstances, I can tell you that, wait, yes, you have a warrant. Can I have the option of talking to my lawyer or something? If the decline is made, fine. But because arrest warrant is a process of law. So I have every right to interrogate whether even the arrest warrant is legal or regularly procured. So I can ask of you, the officer, that am I permitted to talk to my lawyer? Since this is a process of the law courts, you want to come and search my home. It has far-reaching implications for me.
In fact,
so can I consult my lawyer?
In fact, those seeking to arrest you are the ones supposed to read out your Miranda rights.
Of course, the Miranda rights
to tell you that you have the right to speak to a lawyer of your choice.
They have to read your Miranda rights to you. But in this country, everything is taken for granted. Okay? If they had a lawful arrest warrant, they should have gone through all this. But you don't just barge into somebody's home. I have seen what happened there, and it is traumatizing.
So
I mean, even if you want to set someone's home, you mean you don't have to even give the benefit, the person of the benefit of being there. What if you drop something there? If you want to search my bedroom, would you search my bedroom without being present in the bedroom? So, what if you go and drop something there?
So
and then you will be responsible for it.
As we understand, it was not a search exercise. It was an arrest exercise. And we are now learning that they went there duly authorized with an arrest warrant. But being that they are national security operatives, they will have powers of the police and may not even need an arrest warrant. Do you agree with that?
Something. If you are security operatives, okay, and you don't even need a warrant, I disagree anyway, and you don't even need a warrant, the proper thing to do is to put the person on notice if you get to the premises. That's the most appropriate thing to do. Barring any circumstances, you have to politely notify the person, but you don't barge in because that is not your home. The privacy of anybody's home is guaranteed by the Constitution. Correct. The Constitution is the predominant and fundamental law of this country. Any other thing done should be subservient to the Constitution. So nobody can say...
the MPs were actually quoting Article 18, as you have just referenced, in Parliament, except they read and stopped without completing the particular provision, which makes an exception for a criminal process. That the privacy of your home and your correspondence, your property is protected from being invaded, but there's an exception.
Yes, but something, all I'm saying is that appropriately, take it or leave it. I'm saying that it should be the courtesy of notice. Right. I mean, even if you come to my home, politely, I mean, let me know because that is my home. Even if there are exceptions, you notify me of the reason why you were there. And then you enter. That is the most civil and polite thing to do. But let's come to the issue. I mean about Ken and the circumstances which even led to that. And let's link it with the OSP's pronouncements of the matter. In the first place, how can anybody appropriately describe Ken as a fugitive from justice? I mean, who is a fugitive from justice? The little criminal law I know is that there are 5 simple criteria to declare someone a fugitive from justice. Failing to appear upon invitation, refusing to obey a summons or a warrant, fleeing the jurisdiction, concealing or hiding himself, or eloping or jumping bail after charges are preferred against the person in court. These are the 5 salient points to guide the definition, as I understand, of a fugitive from justice. You are fleeing arrest, prosecution, or investigation. But from from everything that has gone on, the correspondence between the OSP and the lawyers of Ken Ofori-Atta, how? In what stretch of the imagination can anybody describe such a person as a fugitive from justice? You have written to the person has responded to his lawyers, he has given an indication of where he is for medical treatment, there's an address of where he is in the United States of America. You have invited him to come to see you on the 10th of February. He says, look, I'm having consultations and engagements with my doctors. I'm not able to tell you definitively when I'm supposed to come to the country, so give me time. In any event, if you have any queries, consult my lawyers. But something, there is no law which binds any suspect to assist the prosecutor in investigations. This is basic. First principles, of criminal law. There is no law which says that a suspect in a case should assist the police in prosecutions. No. Prosecutions
that's why they have the right to silence.
Yes, the prosecutions are carried out at the instance of the prosecutorial authorities. So you have to investigate and charge him. I can decide to be lean on assistance. So then what? So because the person, even if granted that Ofori-Atta does not even want to assist in investigation, does that make him a fugitive from justice? You see, sometimes in a loud pronouncement.
But normally the suspect has to be taken in and they have to give their statement, their caution statements, right? Before they are charged. First principles.
Can you run me in a bit? You know, I lost touch a bit before I came back. So what exactly did he say which is prompting what you're asking me?
The explanations he's giving, you spoke about when, someone could be declared as a fugitive. Your first issue is that when the person refuses to appear, he says, yes, that's the point. He's refusing to appear. And so they activated this process that they have activated.
But how can what he has just, I just listened to him, how can what he has said be a defense of what happened? I mean, if with the greatest of respect, with the greatest of all respect to the young man, if this is how he communicates, then with due deference and great respect to him, it's casting a very poor picture of the OSP's office. I mean, with great respect to him. All that he has says is laced with inherent contradictions and inconsistencies. He cannot make one simple point correctly. Now you ask them, look, Samson, when somebody fails to appear, what are the ingredients? You have written a letter to someone. Indeed, when that letter was written, the person was out of the jurisdiction. The person is minded, because he's out of the jurisdiction, to get his lawyers to respond to your letter. There is exchange of correspondence between you and the lawyers of the person. Whether he's a person of interest or he's a suspect is neither here nor there. There is a line of communication until the last bit that he said, look, I have medical conference with my doctors. They are examining me, and up to a certain point, I'll make myself available. Now, this man says that a letter from a medical officer is not a medical report. You asked him a pointed question. Why didn't they request for a medical report? If they were so minded, why didn't they request for a medical report?
He said that's not their business, and they are not interested. They had found that this was just an attempt to evade, and therefore they had to make a decision.
Something, it wouldn't be their business, because that is a convenient excuse. In any event, the man has indicated that I have conferences with my doctors, and this is what my doctor has written. Whether you believe it or not is neither here nor there. But at least he has corresponded. So that cannot be suggestive of a failure to appear.
All right, please hold on.
Something. Yeah, much more. Please allow me this one. You know, when things happen, and with the benefit of hindsight, you realize that you are wrong, the most courteous thing to do is to apologize to the person involved. Now, your boss said it proudly and loudly at the press conference that the intel he has picked suggests that either Ofori-Atta stage managed the raid on his home, or it was an imposter action. Now the facts have been laid bare. The majority in Parliament has apologized for what happened. The Office of the National Security has come out, and we are now faced with the bare facts that it was operatives of the National Security Coordinator who went to the premises. As a noble person, What are they supposed to do? He sits there to defend what has happened, that it was because of what they did that prompted what?
Thank you for that point.
I think you see, when these careless decisions are taken, they ought to be taken in context.
Thank you.
You have embarrassed the man and told him that he has state-mandated a raid on his own home and put his wife and children in such trauma. And now that you have been exposed, instead of you to apologize, you are saying what?
All right, Bright,